What's up, guys? Jeff here with Grit City Fitness and Performance, and today I'm wearing my favorite shirt, the I really regret that workout shirt, which no one's ever said. Pretty funny, right? Alright, anyways, today we're going to talk about nutrition. Now, over 10 years of coaching clients, members, talking to people on the street, and every other situation I've encountered them in, one of the most common questions I have is diet, nutrition, and consistency. And figuring out how to deal with this to see a result that you're looking for. And now you might see my bookshelf behind me. Probably got about 300 books over here. And I've probably got about 45 or more that are strictly nutrition based, diets and nutrition. Whether that being high fat, low carb, high carb, low fat, ketosis, paleo, vegan, probably got about just about everything in my bookshelf, right? Because I like to learn and I like to read. But the problem is we are overwhelmed by information, which means we have too much to actually implement. Here's a simple thing. Nutrition is not hard. What you might find from 45 of those books is a lot of different processes, but all of them are still the same concepts, right? They're just taking from the same information. And what I'm going to go over today is that same information. So we're going to make nutrition easy. We know what we need to eat. We know that a chicken breast is better than a Twinkie, and we know that broccoli is better than pasta. But here's the thing. You can still eat those and enjoy those. First, before I really go into my talking points, let me also explain this. Most likely you're over-consuming food or under-consuming food, depending on your goals. The other problem you might be having, though, is depending on portion size, you might not even realize that you're actually consuming 2 to 3 portions, and that might be what is actually killing you. So a perfect example of this is me and my girlfriend actually really love BJ's Brewery. So we go to the one in Tacoma Mall all the time. And every time we go, I usually get some pasta. And that pasta is huge. It's like 1,200 to 1,500 calories. But the thing is that pasta is not actually intended to be one serving. That's 2 to 3 servings in most situations. So if you're eating out, you can oftentimes be overeating by eating the quantity of food that they are giving you. So be careful with that, first of all. Alright, now let's dive right in. So, nutrition is not hard, and I'm going to break it down real fast, real simple for you, and make it as easy as possible for you to implement a strategy right away and hopefully start seeing results by next week. And also figuring out how to adjust yourself to get the outcomes that you want. Now, I will say this. The process is not fast. This is not a crash diet. This is a way for you to actually learn nutrition and learn lifestyle sustainability around the process of food. So you're not going on these yo-yos and crash diets every week and every other week and seeing a result and then going right back to it. What you really need to know here is a couple points. First off, this process is again simple, but it does require work. Do not think that you're going to get away from the work. The important part about the work, though, is it's just like when you were a child and you had to show your math on paper to then give it to the teacher. The reason for this was because it helped ingrain the information and showed you the steps and showed you what went right and what went wrong. And you could look back and see visually exactly what mistakes you might have made to correct them in the future, or see what you did right to get you to the correct answer. And this process is the exact same way. So, here's how it works. First thing, you'd want to take your weight. For instance, I take my weight today. If I took my weight today, I'd probably be at about 210. So let's just put that here. Currently 210 pounds. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use something like MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal are a physical food log. So a journal of such. Now, I would use MyFitnessPal because it's going to give you a lot more data. And the data is actually what's going to help you. So look at this data like when you go to an accountant or a person that helps you with money, an investment assister. That person looks at your financials and can give you information to best suit what you need and figure out your balances, checks, and minuses. Same thing with nutrition. You have to look at it from a perspective of pluses and minuses. So first off, we're going to take our weight as of today. For one whole week, we're going to track everything we consume. So if you put it in your mouth, you would want to track it. And you're going to track it with as much detail and information as possible. That means you're going to be tracking how much it is, or how many ounces, grams, or any measurements that you do take of it, the portion size, and the time that you eat it. So this is why MyFitnessPal is initially very good. So you're going to track all the key components, right? Think about it just like when you have your online banking account. It doesn't just say you spent, around $16. It says that you spent $15.24 at Best Buy on Saturday, June 1st, right? It tells you all that information. So that's why MyFitnessPal is going to be great, and that's why you want to track all that, right? So first thing we're going to do is track for a complete week. So if I did my weight today and I started tracking today, everything I eat for a whole week, I'm going to track. I'm going to put every little detail in there. Now, yes, it's monotonous. Yes, it's shitty, but it's just like the math skills. The more you do, the better you're going to understand the process. And in multiple weeks on, you're going to be able to do this without having to do so much legwork. But it does take some work initially. All right, so again, we've gotten the tracking down. The next step is going to be consistency. We need to consistently track our information and be diligent about the food that we are taking in. From there, we're going to be looking at our calories. So, I'm going to be covering this over on this side in just a second, but we need to find our calories, and our calories are going to be what's dictating our increase in weight, our maintenance of weight, or our decrease in weight. All right? And then finally, then this is where people get most jammed up, is they're focused on what and when to eat. So they're focusing on the macronutrients, how much protein I should be eating, how many carbs should I be eating, should I be eating this thing or that thing. It doesn't matter, right? If you want to eat pizza, that's fine. But you need to be tracking, you need to have consistency, and you need to know your calories, okay? So doesn't matter quite yet, especially if you're in the overwhelmed phase of a nutrition or diet. It doesn't matter what you're eating or when you're eating just yet. That will be saved for another video. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to track for a whole week. At the end of a week, you're going to see all the information laid out on basically like a spreadsheet or a pie chart. And it's going to tell you your weekly calories, okay? So before you even look at that weekly calorie, you're going to also go hop on the scale again. So I hop on the scale, and this week I'm at, let's give 3 examples here. I'm at 207, 210, and 212. All right, so what we look at here is I've got 3 little numbers. So I went down in one, I stayed the same in another, and I increased in another. So I look at my calories for the week. Let's say I consumed 20,000 calories over the course of the last 7 days. I break that down into my daily caloric intake, which basically if I just divide 20,000 by 7, I get about 2,850 calories per day. Fantastic, that's great. Awesome. So now I know that I've consumed 2,850 calories a day for 7 days, and that's my consistency. Consistency is key, right? From here, we now want to look at our numbers. Did I go up, stay the same, or go down? So again, we're here. So let's say I went down. If I went down this week, so if I actually went from 210 to 207, all I need to do is do the exact same thing again. Track all my food and keep my numbers at 2,850. I would continue this process until the week that I don't drop weight. Fantastic. All right, simple enough, right? We don't need to make adjustments. We don't need to make complete overhauls to something that's working, right? You don't change the tires on your car every day to get to work because the tires that you have now are working. They're getting you there. So by making adjustments all the time to your nutrition and caloric breakdown doesn't necessarily suit you or make it any easier. It actually makes it harder, okay? So if it worked this week, I keep my calories the same. Now, the next problem we might have or face is we maintained, which is actually a great problem to have. If we maintained our weight this week, and we look and we had 2,800, 500 calories, then what I need to do is actually drop calories if my goal is to lose weight and increase calories if my goal was to gain weight. All right, simple. Now we take another look. So in this little chart here, we can see that if I'm 200 pounds or less, I'm going to drop 250 calories a day. If I'm 200 pounds or more, I'm going to drop or increase 500 calories per day. So again, let's go back to our numbers. If I was at 2,850 calories and I'm under 200, I'm currently over 200 pounds, so I'm using 210 as my example. I was at 2,800, 250 calories and I'm over 200 pounds, I'm going to drop my calories by 500. That's going to now put me at 2350. So for the next 7 days, I'm going to be at 2350 every day. And again, track and be consistent and keep my calories where they need to be. Now again, if I was gaining weight or trying to gain weight, I would increase my caloric intake, okay? So from there, again, we go into our second week. Our second week says, hey, you lost weight. So again, just like we did in the first week or first process, I keep my calories where they are and continue that strategy until I don't lose weight again, right? So I only fix it when it's not working. I keep it the same when it is working, okay? And then the last and final choice or final issue might be gaining weight. Now, hopefully you're not gaining weight on a weekly basis, but if you are gaining weight and your goal is to go down, again, what you would do is deduct calories from what you've hit daily. Okay, so again, if I went up to 212, I'm not going to drop 1,000 calories. That would be way too aggressive. What I would do though is drop 500 calories per day. Okay, so now again, what will happen is, we'll do another chart here. What would happen is if I was 212 and I dropped my calories from 28 to 2350 and I did this daily, what will happen is either I go back down to my 210 or I even continue going down to 207. I would again continue this process week after week after week. No changes unless it doesn't work. Once it doesn't work, then if I'm over 200 pounds, I drop my calories by 500 per day. If I'm under 200 pounds, I drop my calories by 250. I continue this process until I'm at my goal weight. It's not hard, it's not rocket science, and it's not challenging. It's only challenging because we have an overwhelming amount of information, like in my bookshelf, that makes us think that this process is too hard. Now, I've spent about 13 minutes filming this video, but this process is much faster. It's about 2 minutes when you actually do it. But it does require this. It requires you to track your information on a weekly basis. It requires you to be consistent. So consistent on tracking and consistent on hitting your calories. And then the third piece is the calories, making sure that you're in your calorie range. Again, if your goal is to lose weight and you're eating more than what you're supposed to have, it's kind of like you're just taking in too much, right? And as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, you could just be having a quantity that is a little too large. So slow your food down, slow your eating process down, trying to enjoy your meals a little bit more as well. Even trying to drink less of your calories might help you in most cases. And again, that is the simple process and strategy for how to start to have your diet in point and lose or gain weight in the positive or negative ways that you want, without completely overhauling your diet and having to do too much. It's a simple strategy. And in another video, I'll cover the what and the when. But for 95% of people, the what and the when is not important. What is important is this: tracking. So tracking everything that you eat and consume. Consistency in doing so, because I have a story about the man who burns his house down every weekend. He's on a diet. A carpenter builds his house every week, all week, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and then every Friday through Sunday, he burns it down. And that's what you do if you are not consistent. You will burn your house down. And then the third thing is finding your calories for the week, breaking them down to a daily basis, and then seeing, did I lose weight, stay the same, or gain weight? Based on that answer, if you stayed the same or gained weight with the goal of losing weight, you would drop 250 calories per day if you're 200 pounds or less, 500 calories per day if you're 200 pounds or more. Now again, this isn't daily, meaning if I'm at 2,850 calories daily currently and I gained weight or maintained weight, I would go to 2,350 calories per day. If again, I lost weight Doesn't matter if it's 1 or 2 pounds. If I lost weight, I would stay with the same calories that worked that week, and I would continue doing that until it no longer works. I only make changes when what I'm doing stops working. At that point, you will have success, and you will continue to follow this pattern until you get to your goal weight. It's no harder than that. So if you have any other questions, guys, feel free to comment below, and I'll get those answered for you. But don't make nutrition any harder than it needs to be. Stop overwhelming yourself with more information, more content, more pieces, more knowledge about macronutrients and food intake and what time you should be eating. While those things are important, those things are actually blocking you from seeing your results because you're not fucking doing the work, which is tracking your food, being consistent, and finding where you are calorie-wise to either drop calories or gain calories based on your own goals. All right, guys, there it is. That's easy nutrition tips.